Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Notes My Goats podcast. I am Brandon.
And I'm Steve.
How are you, bud?
Dude, I'm doing good. How are you?
Not too bad. Can't complain too much. We're middle of June-ish now, almost the middle of June, I guess.
Softball's almost over.
Softball's almost over. Just got to get through the end of the month. That's kind of where we're at this point. So, handful of games more or less for me for softball, but we're there. Go team everything pink. That's what we are this year. Team EP. So there it is.
Love it.
Yeah. How are things with you, bud?
Not bad, not bad. Just working a lot, getting things going. It's so freaking hot though. That's the problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Working outside and it's so hot. It's just but
yeah.
We had our first live event with Downtown Wayland in their Main Street Fest last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm knocking out whether that went well because we have another one coming up in a couple of days. We have our first comedy night coming up on Friday.
Absolutely.
Another free event in Downtown Wayland. If you guys are seeing this on YouTube, make sure you please push that subscribe button somewhere wherever it is on here.
Yeah.
Just helps us kind of grow a little bit further. Plus, you'll get the first access to one of the clips that we drop on here before we drop full episodes.
Absolutely.
Other than that, man, it's life. It's June. Birthday's almost here, so I'm inching ever so closely to 40. Not this year, it'll be next year.
Yeah.
But I'm almost there.
You're almost there. You're closer to there than you are to 30.
The gray and the beard is coming. You're not wrong there either.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So guys,
we're getting there.
Yeah, for sure. So guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with us today. If you haven't checked last week's episodes out, last week Tuesday we talked about Morgan Wallen. Go check that episode out. And then on Friday, we had a friend of the podcast and friend of ours in general, returning guest Tyler Davenport talking about They Might Be Giants. So go check out last Friday's episode. This Friday, Steve, we're actually bringing back another guest doing another big album, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we will. That was a long one too.
That was a very long one.
Fun conversation. Holy crap.
Absolutely. He probably doesn't remember the last half hour, but you know what? It's fine. It's totally fine. So, Steve, because things are totally fine, let's talk about what we're talking about today. And what is it that we're talking about today?
So, we're talking about an artist that, honestly, we knew nothing about.
Yes. I
can say that for sure on my end of the musical spectrum, I had no idea this person existed.
No idea. Until you were telling me, like, hey, you need to check out these musical performances from the Grammys.
Yeah. And there was one in particular. You need to watch one because she was awesome. And I don't know who the hell this person is, but we need to find out.
Yep.
So we are talking about Samara Joy and her self-titled album.
Yep.
Today. Now, if you don't know who Samara Joy is, welcome to the club.
Well, I was going to say, yeah.
We're here. We're there with you. We're going to learn today.
Absolutely.
About her. Her full name is Samara Joy McClendon. She's an American jazz singer from New York City. Grew up in the Bronx. She's born in November 11th, 1999.
Yikes.
She's 23, man.
Yeah.
Started singing in high school in a jazz band, which should be near and dear to your heart.
It is very near and dear to my heart.
And won many competitions, singing and jazz competitions while she was in high school. That was only a few years ago for her. In 2019, she won the Sarah Vaughan International Jazz Vocal Competition, which apparently is a big deal.
I've never heard of it, so I couldn't confirm or deny.
Sarah Vaughan is in the same regard of like Etta James, and they're like, she's a huge jazz female singer.
Okay.
And she's like on the Rushmore of jazz female singers.
Okay.
But the International Jazz Vocal Competition apparently is a very big deal, and Samara won it in 2019. I think she was 19 years old, actually, when she won it.
Wow.
Yeah. Released her first album in 2021, recorded it while she was still in college, where she actually graduated magna cum laude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in college, which she was a vocal major.
Yeah.
She was named the best.
That's not the top, but it's one of the top categories.
It's up there, yeah. She was named the best new artist by Jazz Times Magazine just after her album was released. Second album was released September of 22 and won the Best Jazz Vocal Grammy. And she won Best New Artist for the Grammys, which is why we're talking about her today, I think, is how we found her.
Mhm.
She is only the second jazz artist to win the Best New Artist award. The first was, I'm gonna screw her first name up, Esperanza Spalding in 2011. So only
Okay,
12 years
not too long.
ago.
Yeah,
But two jazz artists in the last 12 years have won the Best New Artist album, which is interesting.
interesting.
Um, not a whole lot on her for backstory wise,
Sure.
just so you're aware. She's very new and doesn't a lot. There's not a lot out about her. Plus, she's a jazz artist. Not generally a
Again,
lot
not
about
a lot.
anyway.
Yeah.
But how many Spotify listeners do you think that she's pulling?
We're gonna go with a cool 850,000.
You're not off by much.
Okay.
645.
Okay. I figured she wasn't gonna quite reach that 7-digit mark, but I
No,
knew it was gonna be relatively
she's getting
close.
close though.
Yeah.
645,000 ish. That's a bit of a roundup, but it's okay. She'll take it. Spotify listeners. Now the album we reviewed today was her debut, her self-titled album called Samara Joy,
Mhm.
released July 9th, 2021. It's 12 songs, 42 minutes long. Not a whole lot on this one. She just kind of recorded it after winning the Sarah Vaughan competition.
Mhm.
Got into the studio after being signed and was like, I want to do this. It is filled with a lot of jazz standards. There are a lot of covers,
Yep.
which I didn't know. I had never heard a lot of these songs before,
Mhm. Yeah, I
or I
hadn't
don't
either.
remember hearing them before, but there
Yep.
were a lot of jazz standards from the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Okay. Yep.
So there's two singles, Stardust and Everything Happens to Me.
Mhm.
I know Everything Happens to Me was definitely a single, but Stardust was played so many times on Spotify. I have to imagine it was probably a single too. It's over 200,000 times.
For sure.
So, um, again, not a lot of backstory on her,
Mm-mm.
just because she's so young and she's a jazz artist. That's really hard to find information. She
Yeah.
does have a Wikipedia page, so that's good. And the album has a Wikipedia page, so it kind of
Hey,
works
there you
out.
go.
But there's just not a lot out there about it. So let's
For
just
sure.
jump right in. This might be a shorter episode, but I think we'll get into a good conversation.
I think so too.
What was your favorite song?
Let's Dream in the Moonlight
Oh,
was my
let's do it.
favorite track. Yeah. So I chose this song because listening to it, there's this fun juxtaposition between what you're hearing from the band and what she's singing. The band is upbeat, going 100 miles a minute, but her vocals on this track, I felt almost seemed to be pulled back as far as tempo goes. She was definitely more laid back in the pocket and had that kind of feel to it than what you would normally get from jazz music. So I mean, it's kind of a simple thing, but I liked the musical juxtaposition that was kind of going on with that. So I'm gonna nerd out just a little.
I love this album that's going to like hit you right in your nerd pocket. Like you're just
It's
so
gonna
awesome.
hit me right in the nerd pocket for sure.
Because you when I was like, let's do a jazz album, you were just like, what?
I'm like, what?
And it
Yeah,
was my idea to do it. And you're just like, what?
yeah. Because the last one
Yeah.
that we did was Gordon Goodwin's Big Fat Band and around Christmas time. And I mean, that's big band. So
And I liked it,
yeah,
but this one's not that.
this one's different.
This was
This
like
is
tradition. This is
this
like
is
traditional jazz.
this is like jazz. This is like what's the movie La La Land, like where
Yeah.
the jazz bar where you literally sit in a dark room and
Drink.
drink, smoke cigars, listen to jazz music.
I'm down with a couple of those things.
Yeah,
I don't like cigars, but I mean I'll drink and listen to
you'll
jazz.
drink
With
for
that.
sure. I'll smoke a cigar only because I want to be a man. Um, I
You just can't drink whiskey, so it's okay.
want to be a real boy. Anyway, and
With our stories combined, we got this.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So, all right, buddy. What was your favorite track on this one?
Everything happens to me.
I mean, and it really does.
Oh, I wish you were wrong. I really wish you were wrong on that.
Yeah.
So let's just stop for 1 second and remind ourselves that this young woman is 23 years old. Recorded this song when she was 20.
Yep.
It was released when she was 21.
Mhm.
This track has been performed by Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, and Nat King Cole, just to name a few. And Samara sounds like she belongs with all of them.
Mhm.
She sounds like she's a transplant from that jazz heyday of like the 30s.
Mhm.
in the or the late or the mid 50s. The track is a fun take on the Murphy's Law, on Murphy's Law in particular. Basically means like if it can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really like the jazz version of like Alanis Morissette's Ironic.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, it leans into that bad luck funk that we find ourselves in from time to time, and like she just can't get out of it except for just like wallowing a little bit in it. Like the hell
Mm-hmm.
now, really? And
Yeah,
I loved it. I loved her take on it. I loved the band's push on it and pull on it, and it was great. So
for sure. I like it. I like it. All right, Steve. So it's time for our first game of the night, and it's my game. It is time for the the jazz wang. I don't know.
okay.
Let's play wine. Let's play wine. Word association and game.
All right, Steve. So, unlike past albums, where there's like a million tracks and we do like 4 of these, I've only got 2 for you. So, we're back to our
That makes
regularly
sense.
scheduled programming here. So,
There's only 2. There's only 12 tracks. We're good there.
for sure, for sure. All right. Are you ready? Are you set?
I am ready. I have all 12 tracks pulled up.
All right. So, one of them's really funny, one of them's really serious. Not really serious, but
Okay, hopefully it's not really serious.
no, like it's about as serious as you can get on this game. That's called Wang. Sunshine.
Only a moment ago.
Close, very close. Keep going.
Is it Moonglow?
It is Moonglow.
All right.
Absolutely. Now I got to see your face when I tell you this one. Do you want to make an attempt at the name before at the guess before? No.
There's a couple of them you could go with here that might get me. I don't know.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
The Fallout Boy.
Oh, fuck you, Jim.
Yeah, there it is.
It's Jim.
It is Jim. 100%. It's Jim.
Okay, didn't expect you to go there. There was a couple of them you could have gone with that would have got me, but
Yeah, that's the one that I went with.
I love it. I love it. That was an amazing pick.
That is that was pretty good. Yeah. So guys, backstory on that. Just a quick backstory before we get into our least favorites. So last year, Steve hosted the Hot Air Balloon Festival here in town, and
Yes.
there was a guy, a hot air balloon aficionado, because that guy knew everything, literally knew everything. And late at night, they did a lot of all glows, because it's what it is. Everybody glows. They puff up their whatever. Everybody glows. It's actually super cool. But what he said was, we're going to do this, and then there's a song from the Fallout Boy, literally the Fallout Boy, and it was Light 'Em Up. We talked about it like a month ago. We brought it up. So,
and the funny thing is every time he would go on stage, he would take the mic and he would just talk about random balloon facts, because he was the balloon guy.
yeah,
I was the music guy. He was the balloon guy.
yeah,
Well, the sound guys didn't like the balloon guy.
yeah.
So
They like the music guy.
The fuck you, Jim.
Yeah.
Becomes from them, because I walk back and they're like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm like, that's Jim. And they're like, well, fuck you, Jim. and they, every single time, they would just like head in their hands, like waiting for him to get done, because they just couldn't stand him. And Jim is actually a very nice man.
Very dry.
Very dry, but he's a very nice man. He knows what he knows. He is a hot air balloon nerd, and I like those people. They're great guys. He's a showman when it comes to that venue. But it's just not what a lot of the clientele were there to see. They wanted to see fire and rock music, because it's what they do.
For sure.
And beer. Lots and lots of beer. So it was just kind of a fun take on the day, and I had a really good time doing it. Not doing it this year just because of schedule and life, and we're busy that day for podcasts and for hot dogs. So, and I have to work.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
Life happens, and you can't do it every time. You can't work for free every day of your life. So,
absolutely.
Maybe some days we can talk about, getting paid and doing some more stuff, but there's a lot more pay gigs out here for the podcast. And I think we're going to have to start transitioning to some more pay gigs.
For
Hint,
100%.
hint, nudge, nudge.
Absolutely.
Speaking of our least favorite things in the world not getting paid,
Yeah.
let's talk about our least favorite tracks on the
Absolutely, my
album.
man. Yeah.
I'll start
Okay.
because we mentioned it already.
Did we?
We did. Well, you did.
Oh.
Let's Dream in the Moonlight.
Oh boy. All right.
I'm not gonna give you shit. I didn't like it.
I mean, that's fine. That's
And I'm
fair.
gonna get nitpicky because there's something off about the track, and I couldn't figure out what it was. The music seems to be going so incredibly fast for Samara's vocals that it's like the music was sped up to like a 1.5 speed, and her vocals were kept at their normal pace. The
So
backing,
I liked that. And
there's a reason I didn't like it because
Okay.
I have my headphones and I was listening to my studio headphones and I listened to the track as I was actually typing this up. And the backing bass track is so low on the register of like the mix. It's subtle, it's right on the back end of it, but it's so incredibly fast because it seems like it was sped up. It probably wasn't,
Okay.
but it seems like it was. That was
Sure.
making my heart race with my headphones on.
oh.
I did like the give and go between the, I believe is a piano player, but it might be a guitar player, and the drummer. But I didn't like how pulled back the drummer was either. I know it's a jazz thing,
Well, yeah.
but I didn't like how like I believe it's piano. We're going back and forth.
Yep.
It might have been
Yeah.
guitar. Either way, they kind of go hand in hand sometimes.
I think it was, yeah.
Piano keyboardist, however it worked out.
Sure.
But they were going,
Yep.
they were like doing the give and go back and forth, which was
Mhm.
super cool. It's just couldn't hear the drums because they were so pulled back. The production of it, they were so pulled back, which again, jazz thing, I get it. The guitar, piano / whatever the hell that was like up front, and then it felt like the drums were in a different room.
Mhm.
When you're gonna do that give and go, like if you're on stage doing it, it's not like that. So it was just a weird, like how they all kind of mixed intermingled. I didn't like it. The track itself wasn't bad though. I liked her singing, but musically it was distracting.
Yeah.
And I get it, it's a
Okay.
jazz thing, not
No,
my cup
no,
of
no,
tea.
no, but I get it for sure. I can appreciate that.
So
for sure.
what was your least favorite?
I picked Stardust as my least favorite. Lead off track on the album, and I truly feel that there was a ton of weird musical things going on with this track. Just seemed kind of chaotic and not put together. Honestly, this kind of made me a little nervous when this track was playing because I was really hoping that this was not going to be how the whole album was going to be. Because if that was the case, I would have been sorely disappointed in this album.
Mhm.
So that one for me, just Stardust, it has a weird vibe to me in the beginning that I just wasn't digging. So that was that one for me. So yeah.
All right, so it's time to play our second game, which I am covering today, and it's
Yeah, you are.
time for Shatner's Poetry Jazz Hands. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is Shatner's Poetry.
All right, buddy, you got the playlist pulled up or track list pulled up?
I'm ready to rock.
All right, so we'll give it some jazz hands here. Get
Jazz
it going here. So I picked
Okay.
two songs that you didn't pick before.
Okay.
So I'll start with my first one. Now I have to be careful on these because generally every single song is led off with a song title.
Somewhere, yeah.
So I have to kind of be careful of how I read it here. So we're gonna start off on this one with the second line there. All right, here we go. You suddenly smiled and whispered hello. With no introduction beforehand. I felt my hand melt into your hand. Song title. My bumpety heart was letting me know this was no commonplace story, but romance in all its glory. Meeting you was my happy accident. Out of nowhere you came, one kiss and I was aflame. Have you got eyes?
It only happens once.
Nope. Tell me, what's your name?
Lover Man.
Nope. Song title. You might have gone by, and I'd never know. It's hard to believe I was lonely. Song title.
Jim.
No.
Oh, because I had that.
Only a moment ago.
Only a moment ago.
Yes,
Dang it.
it's okay. The very first line of that song is only a moment ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, that would have given it away.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Here. Maybe. Apparently it's going to. Oh, never mind. Hold on. I had it picked up, but didn't want to do it. Come on. There we go. Again, you got to start with the second line of the first verse. You'd be near every moment, dear. But daydreams fly, and time slips by. So very much alone am I. But, song title, you'd express longing tenderness. But when we meet, although you're sweet, if you love me, you're not confessing.
If you never fall in love with me.
Mm-mm. Dreaming we're lovers.
If you'd stay the
And-
way I dream.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. Only have like 4 stanzas, so it's kind of like one of those things where I have to like
Play
hopefully
around.
it gets it because I'm almost towards the end.
Right.
But yeah, so that was it. So if you'd stay the way I dream.
Yeah.
So speaking about dreaming, let's go into
Yeah.
our deep cuts, our dark horses here.
I love it, Steve.
What do you got?
I picked one of my Wang's tracks, and I picked Moon Glow as my deep cut.
All right.
This was the first time in this, and it wasn't going to be Jim. This was the first time in this album, and it was the second to last track. But I loved when she scatted during the middle of this track. Now, let's again be clear for what jazz scatting is. It's when the vocalist does the melodic kind of line, like a doo da ba ba doo da doo ba da dee da doo ba doo, like that kind of thing.
Not what the internet says it is.
Correct. It's audible sounds to make riffs. Similar to
definitely not what the internet says that is.
Right, 100%. So, I have a deep appreciation for jazz vocalists who can do that and do that well. So that one for me, Moon Glow. I just wanted to bring that part of it to life. So Moon Glow. Yeah. What about you, man?
I picked the very last song, But Beautiful.
Okay.
Another jazz standard or cover that was meant for a more seasoned performer, an older performer. That Samara absolutely takes it over and gives you the essence of a song with her amazing talent. I had never heard this song before, and I felt like it was a perfect way to end the album and make the listener kind of want more from her. This song was originally meant for an artist like an Etta James, or Billie Holiday. So they would have been the ones to sing this in like the 50s when they were a little bit older, which again, they were only in their like maybe late 30s. Etta James maybe a little bit older at that point, but it's such a great way to end the album off, and for her to really showcase her pipes and what she can do.
Yeah,
the backing band's amazing. The song musically right where you need it to be, but she is the star of the show, so she does sail the ship here. So let's get into our final thought, Brennan, and I'll just kind of go.
Keep going.
So I really want to know how this is possible. This young woman sounds like she should be in a cigar lounge in the mid-30s, or at very least a Vegas club in the 50s. Not in the Grammys in 2023. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm for it. But I thought jazz was dying, and the younger generation had given up on the genre. Now, I guess I was mistaken, and that should make many people, like my co-host, very, very happy. This album is not but just to give you guys a heads up, this album for me is not a car listen.
No.
For me, it is a sit back and chill at home, sip on some bourbon with a good book, listen, background stories, kind of hanging out. Maybe like Brandon said, get a nice cigar, winding down for the day.
Mhm.
The vibe is very, very chill. It fits exactly what you're kind of looking for. I'm not personally a jazz fan. I feel like in the right moment, especially live, I can be swayed because of the musicianship that goes along with it. It's way too chill for me.
Okay.
It just is like I the big band style is a little
Yeah.
bit better because that's a bit more upbeat, kind of kicking going.
Mhm.
But this I loved this time and place though. I liked
Okay.
listening to it kind of before bed, just kind of
Mhm.
like really relaxing, chilled out.
Yep.
But it wouldn't be a car ride listen for me because it's just way
Yeah,
too sleepy
for sure.
personally.
Yeah.
Um, but again, the album was solid. Samara is a rising star and she's going to be around for a while, especially in the jazz community. I hope she does make the like jump over to like what pop culture will be and bring into more of the not bring in the like bring jazz to the other side is kind of where I'm thinking.
Yep.
Like not sell her soul, become, bad
Right.
Barbie or anything stupid,
Right.
but become like bring like try to influence more of that younger generation to come over to the jazz side, which is like the
Mhm.
dark side, but they have, cigars and bourbon,
Yeah.
right?
Probably.
Sounds right.
Yep.
But album for me is personally is it's solid. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I enjoyed it,
Yeah, man.
which
No,
is more than I thought I was going to.
for sure. For sure. For me, this album is an incredibly easy listen. Um, Samara's voice is so deep and rich and reminds me, you and I've talked about it, of a 21st century kind of Ella Fitzgerald, Etta James kind of thing. Deep, rich. It's just if I could have her read me a book, I would. Or just sing me to sleep. I mean, I would do it. Um, her voice is just amazing and it really allows you to relax and chill and listen to these songs that she has on this album. I'm definitely becoming a fan of her. And I'm excited to kind of continue to listen and to see what else she puts out in the future. Steve, I'm right there with you, man. 8 out of 10.
Awesome. You guys,
Yep.
it's a solid listen. If you're looking for something in like off the beaten path that you may not have checked out before,
Mhm.
if you don't want to listen to the album first, go on YouTube. If you're there already, you've already clicked subscribe, so we're good to go. Check out her performance in the Grammys. 2023 Grammy performance. She was one of the best new artists. All of the artists that Brandon and I did not know who any of them were, except for I knew one of the artists.
Yeah.
But check out her Grammy performance. Just seeing her do it live,
Yeah.
I think will sway you into wanting to give it a deeper dive a little bit.
Sure.
But it'll help you dabble in a little bit more, just give you a bit more oomph to do it. Maybe you remember her from the Grammys. She
Mhm.
she brought down the house, man.
For sure. For
And
sure.
that's a way to kind of that's how honestly that's how we got it. It's how we
Yeah.
found it. So
Yep.
check out her Grammy performance. I think you'll be pretty happy there. Now that being said, I did mention that we are on YouTube. Where else can the kids find us, Brandon?
Yeah, you guys can find us on Facebook, search the Notes McGoats podcast. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Notes McGoats Pod. You can also find us on Twitter at Notes McGoats Podcast, but we don't really post a whole lot over there, Steve, because why?
Elon's still the president and CEO and head douchebag.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So yeah, guys, we are venturing out, doing all these other things. We've got a lot of live events coming here soon. Friday, absolutely. So Friday, guys, begins week 1 of 3 of our comedy nights here at the mini park here in Wayland. Steve and I will be hosting. We've got a great lineup of comedians who will be here slinging their jokes and having a good time. We've got this Friday the 16th, again the 23rd, and then again on the 30th. Or right? Yes.
Yeah, nope, you're right. You got it.
Yep.
Math checks out.
Absolutely. So we're gonna have fun. It's gonna be a good time. So if you're in or around the greater Grand Rapids area, come on down to Wayland and
Bring a
Wayland,
chair.
Yes, bring a chair and come out and enjoy some free. I'm telling you, it's free local comedy. Come out, enjoy some laughs. Steve and I can both attest that the comedians who are coming on for all three of these shows are top quality.
I mean, the guy we're talking to on Friday is going to headline next week.
Absolutely. And it's yeah, just the three headliners in and of themselves. Two of the three we've had on the podcast.
One we
So,
need to get on the podcast.
One we need to get on the podcast
We gotta
because
talk to
she's
her on Friday.
hilarious.
Yes, she is.
She's hilarious.
We got to talk to her on Friday.
I think so too. So, on that note, guys, this has been Samara Joy and her self-titled album, Samara Joy. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Go check out the album. Go check out the performance on YouTube, like Steve mentioned. And guys, we will see you on Friday when we talk another concept concert album, I guess. Here we go.
Notes, my goats. Notes, my goats. Notes, my goats. Welcome back, everybody.